This is Karl Moore, Rethinking Leadership for Forbes. Today I'm delighted to speak to a colleague from INSEAD, Jennifer Petriglieri. So Jennifer, you've been looking at how identity impacts leadership. What have you found?
So traditionally in leadership studies, we tend to focus on styles or actions of leaders, which of course are important. But I think the way the research is going and what we're really uncovering now is almost as important is the identity of the leader. Because of course, if we think of leadership, the corollary is followership. And how do we invoke followership? And it's often invoked when people can see in the leader a piece of themselves. So it's not just about influence and providing a vision, it's about representation. So does this person represent me as an individual? And if I feel they do, they have shared concerns, I'm much more likely to follow them and to, if you like, give them leadership and authority in the group. And so we've really been developing both our theoretical thinking in this area, and there's a number of scholars working on this, but also kind of how do we teach this in the MBA classroom, because it's much more nebulous. And in the executive classroom as well, it's much more difficult to talk about individuals' identities than perhaps transformational versus transactional leadership styles and actions you can take. And really what we're challenging people now to do in the classroom in our courses, both executive and MBA, is start thinking about who am I as an individual? And given that, how might different groups of constituents react to me? Because let me give an example between the two of us. You know, if we both go and give a speech on a certain thing, it will be taken in very differently, even if we say exactly the same words and use exactly the same slides. And it will be taken in differently because of our identities, maybe our national identities, our historical identities, our age, our genders. Lots of things influence this. And so different people might identify with you than would identify with me. And I think it's very important for people to start understanding this, particularly as the world of work gets more and more diverse.
So when I think about that, Jennifer, you know, I have an identity which I should find groups that identify, or can I be more elastic? Can I appeal to more identities somehow? What do you think?
Actually, one of my students had a super analogy for this, which I will sort of use. And she said, you know, I often think of myself as this glitter ball, you know, the disco glitter ball with the lots of different faces. And when we think of our identity, we tend to think of those faces that are very obvious. You know, the fact that I'm white, I'm female, I'm British, I'm a professor. But she said, of course, I have many other different faces. And the challenge of leadership is kind of rotating that glitter ball, if you like, so people see those different aspects of yourself. So it's not that you can only lead people who look exactly the same as you and sound exactly the same as you, but it's about finding a piece of yourself that they find represented in, because we're all multifaceted. None of us have just 2 or 3 identities, even though visibly we may look like that. And so it's not about leading homogenous groups, but it's about, if you have a heterogeneous group of diversity, what is the piece of you that different people can identify with? And for different people, it might be different things. You know, one people may identify with you on something very visible, maybe your cultural background, your age, etc. But for someone else, it might be an experience you've had in the past. And this is why, as a leader in this day and age, it's very important to be more personable, to reveal more aspects of yourself, and not just to be the thing that people can see.